All right, recording on.
Okay, so I can kind of start this off. So thank you, Fairfield-Suisun Unified School District, for presenting today at our Advocacy Council meeting. And you're going to be presenting on the state of the district. I'm Susan LeBrecht. I'm the co-chair of the Advocacy Council. And I think Brian's on here as well. Brian, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Hi, Brian Botari, Comcast. Sorry, I'm on the road. Co-chair of the council. Thanks for coming.
All right, and just because of the we don't want to cut you guys short. Those of you that are able on the chat, if you could just put your name and organization as a way of introduction, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. So if I could please ask the Fairfield-Suisun staff to introduce themselves and then jump right into your presentation. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Corey. I'm the superintendent of Fairfield-Suisun Unified School District. Believe it or not, I'm starting my 10th year this year. And so I am just really honored, and it's always a privilege to present about great things that are happening in our school district. I do believe our immediate past president, Jonathan Richardson, one of our board members, is also on the line. We have today Dr. Sheila McCabe, who's our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Kristen Witt, who is our Senior Director of Secondary Education, and Dr. hollyw Whitworth, who is our Assistant Director of Secondary Education. So I am just going to, without further ado, just turn this over to Kristen Witt.
Thank you very much, Chris. And Sheila, I will just say next slide when we're ready for each of the next slides. So good morning. Like Chris said, I am Kristen Witt, the Senior Director of Secondary Education, and I am honored this morning to be here with you, co-presenting with our Assistant Director of Secondary Education, Dr. hollyw Whitworth. Next slide, please. The topics that we are going to be covering this morning include the impact of career technical education, our community partnerships, our academic opportunities, and our work-based opportunities for our students within Fairfield-Suisun Unified School District. Next slide, please.
Slow to unmute there, sorry. The CTE graduation rate has surpassed the overall FSUSD graduation rate for 2 years. The 21-22 graduation rates are currently being calculated and are identified as embargoed until they are released by the California Department of Education this fall. Next slide, please.
We truly value the many community partnerships that we've forged over the years throughout all of Solano County. Next slide, please. One such partnership that must be recognized is our partnership with the Fairfield-Suisun Chamber of Commerce. The strong partnership has led to very successful Inspire Dreams Start Now events for our 8th graders and the Inspire Dreams Move Forward event for our 10th graders. We would not have been able to involve as many local businesses without the direct partnership and involvement of the Chamber of Commerce. These 2 career exposure events afford our students the opportunity to engage with local businesses and experience career opportunities that they may not have otherwise known existed. Next slide, please.
Can I just jump in real quick? I want to give a huge shout out at this moment to Monty Hoover, because when it was actually Bethany Smith that came forward with this idea about starting Inspire or some kind of workforce development event. And Monty was really the representative from the chamber that it would not have happened had it not have been for his support, as well as that of the Kroc Center. And Bethany Smith is one of our board members. So I just want to take a moment to give that shout out on this slide.
FSUSD is very proud to partner with many community organizations and businesses to provide as many student opportunities as possible. Next slide, please. These partnerships include many industry leaders and community organizations. We are always looking to expand our partnerships to include as many different industry representatives for each of the CTE pathways as possible. Next slide, please.
There are several different ways that FSUSD is preparing our students for success in a career post-high school graduation. And this next portion of our presentation this morning, we will be reviewing some of those academic opportunities that we afford our students here in Fairfield-Suisun. Next slide, please. During the 2018 school year, our governing board had forward thinking and wanted to go beyond a standard diploma for the students in Fairfield-Suisun. It was during that 2018-19 school year that the governing board formally approved the addition of tiered diplomas to our board policy 6146.1. At that time, staff designed this tiered diploma opportunity structure to align with the California College Career Readiness Indicators. Next slide, please. Over the next few slides here, we will actually outline for you what our different tiered diplomas are. So this slide right here provides you with the required items that a student must complete to earn a diploma plus career distinction. You'll notice that for the career distinction, they must have a completion of a career technical education or CTE pathway, plus one of the following criteria. Their smarter balanced summative assessments of at least a 3, which is standard met on either their English language arts or mathematics portion, and at least a 2 standard nearly met in the other subject area, plus 50 hours of community service during the time that they're in grades 9 through 12. Next slide, please. This slide here outlines our tiered diploma, which is our diploma plus college distinction. And in order to get this diploma, a student must earn their base diploma plus completion of the required coursework for A to G eligibility, plus one of the additional criteria that are listed there in those 4 bullets, either a CTE pathway completion, earning their smarter balanced assessment of at least a 3 in either English language arts or math, or a 2 standard nearly met in one of the other subject areas, or 1 semester, 2 quarters of dual enrollment with a passing grade in academic or CTE subjects, or passing score on 1 AP exam or 1 IB exam, and then additionally another 50 hours of community service during their 9th through 12th grade years. Next slide, please. Our final tier diploma, and probably the most prestigious of all, is an FSUSD diploma plus both college and career distinction. And in order for a student to achieve this diploma, they would have to earn their 230 credits plus a CTE pathway completion, plus earn their A to G eligibility, plus at least a level 3 on both portions of their smarter balanced assessment, and 100 hours of community service during their time in high school of grades 9 through 12. Next slide, please.
We are continuing to review our pathway alignment with industry standards, articulation opportunities, student leadership opportunities, and the FSUSD LCAP goals. We seek additional student leadership opportunities through career technical student organizations and are working with our post-secondary educational industry and community partners to increase student internship opportunities and course articulations. This slide identifies by high school site, the 3 comprehensives, as well as the Public Safety Academy, the different pathways that are offered in FSUSD. Next slide, please.
And I'm going to just jump in, especially for our community partners right here, that a lot of times you'll hear out in the community that, oh, the schools don't have voc ed, especially for those of us that are a little older, that when we went to high school, people talked about it in terms of having voc ed or vocational education. And it's just important to know that it's a change in terminology, that what we used to call voc ed is now called career technical education, or CTE. So while the statement of the terminology voc ed is correct, that no longer exists in the district, it's because we have career technical education, and it's just a switch in vocabulary at the state level, probably at the federal level actually as well. But we still have those classes and it's alive and well. It's just under a different term. Sorry, now I'll go to the next slide.
In addition to pathway coursework and opportunities, career technical education pathways promote student leadership skills through career technical student organizations. These organizations on the slide, we do have students engaging in and participating in each of these organizations. Next slide, please. And just to highlight, on August 25th, we recognized our Career Technical Student Organization advisors and many students for their engagement in the CTSOs. Next slide, please. The Fairfield-Suisun Adult School offers a variety of different training courses. Many of them are career technical education skills and courses. The quick link that you see on the left, or the image of the quick link, identifies them by category, and then we've listed out some of the details here on the slide. Next slide, please.
I'll jump in really quick before you change the slide. Sheila, I just want to point out our paraeducator course that we have. We have a very nice seamless pathway from students completing the paraeducator course, connecting directly with our human resources department that then is hiring those individuals into our open positions that we have. And so we just finished a course recently and got several of those individuals hired into our open positions. And now we're also continuing to look at how we can then continue coaching of those paraeducators as they begin their careers with us in Fairfield-Suisun. So that's just one area to highlight the direct correlation between the training that happens and then actual employment within our district directly following those courses.
And one of the services that I think is important for our business community to know that our adult school can provide. And so something to consider is they truly, out of any educational institution in Solano County, they are the ones that can turn on a dime in terms of bringing new courses in. And in many cases, they can partner with a business. So like if a business has a particular skill set that they're needing a whole bunch of employees to have, they have the ability to put on that course and provide that training for the employees. And an example of that is a few years ago when we had the huge fires, not the L and U fires, but the ones before that over in Napa. There was a company out of Sacramento that needed to have a number of people trained in hazardous material removal. So individuals that were going to go in to help clean up the houses that had been burned down and the facilities that had been burned down. But to do that, you have to have special training. So our adult school in a short amount of time was able to put together the course, promote the course, and have it be where the students took, or adults took, a 40-hour training course and were automatically employed like the very next day. And so they were able to help a company turn on a dime in terms of increase the training required in order to have the certification to go in and address those needs in the Napa community. And truly, we're the only institution that's able to do that. And so something that our business community can keep in mind.
And if I could just add, one of our newest CT pathways is the education pathway. And so just circling back to what Kristen had mentioned about the paraeducator, helping those students who are in the education pathway look at what their next steps are, employment opportunities as a paraeducator while they're potentially going to school if they're interested in becoming a teacher. So just continuing to provide those opportunities and create those connections. Students in FSUSD have work-based learning opportunities, and our community partnerships are integral in providing these opportunities to our students. Next slide, please. As FSUSD returned to in-person instruction from distance learning, we are continuing to see an increase in the number of student work permits issued. So far this school year, or as of September 10th, 41 students have secured student work permits. Next slide. Our comprehensive high schools offer a work experience course that offers internships and employment combined with instruction in critical workplace skills. There are instructors, teachers for each of those courses, and they not only teach the classroom-based skills, but help to support students in seeking out those work-based opportunities and then supervise the student out in the field, facilitating that work with the employer or community organization. Next slide, please.
While this was quick this morning, we wanted to be able to provide you just a glimpse into FSUSD and the many ways in which we're having a positive impact on career technical education through our community partnerships, the different academic opportunities and work-based opportunities. And again, like we said at the forefront of this presentation, Partnering with the local businesses and the chamber is a pivotal piece in ensuring that the instruction that we're providing our students is truly preparing them for what they need once they transition into the workforce. So we are excited about continuing to be partners with all of you and improving our outcomes for our students.
We don't have slides for the next part. I just wanted to let everyone know. Some of you already have heard that the district has a facilities improvement measure on the November ballot. Measure S will be on November 8th for our voters to decide if they want to approve. And what that is, it would bring $249 million of additional facilities funding to improve our facilities in the district. This is done by no increase of taxes. So basically what it is an extension of Measure C and Measure J, which the voters approved in 2002 and then 2016. Right now, I think it's $83 per $100,000 of assessed value. And that's really important to note because assessed value, as you know, is different than market value. We do have a lot of information on our district website in regards to before and after pictures of what we were able to accomplish with Measure J, but the district still has $700 million in facility needs. And the top priority for Measure S with those facility dollars would go towards our, a majority would go towards our CTE facilities. If anybody's been to Armio High School to see our trades facility or our welding or our ceramics, you will know that they're pretty out of date. These facilities were built over 60 years ago, and industry has changed considerably during that time. I saw in the chat that there was also a question about early childhood programs, and I'm really proud to say that our district has expanded our early learning opportunities significantly in the district. And so Mary Baird, which was an empty site for many years during the recession, now is a really vibrant and exciting early learning opportunity for 3- and 4-year-olds in our district. It's run through the state preschool, and we have a lot of inclusive students with special needs that are being fully included at the early age of 3. That site will be built out next summer when we finish the additional classroom spaces at Mary Baird. We also have satellite programs at some of our schools, like the Public Safety Academy, Anna Kyle. There's a number of schools, but those are where we have some concentrated efforts. And so students are able to, older students are able to assist in those classrooms. And then, you know, we also just want to increase our early learning opportunities, as we will be required to by offering transitional kindergarten by 2028 is it 2028, Sheila? Or 2026? Of all
2026, I think.
2026 for all of our 4-year-olds who would start kindergarten the next year as a 5-year-old. And that was another push for our facilities improvement measure, because we are essentially adding another grade throughout the district. And by doing that, we have inadequate number of kindergarten classrooms. And so that's another thing that's on our horizon for facilities need. And then just finally, I want to highlight, if you haven't already driven by, we have reopened Sullivan, which has been a middle school. It's been an interagency youth services center. And this year we reopened that facility as our language immersion school, which is dedicated fully to being fully immersed in Spanish. And our students that exit there in 5th grade are literate in both English and Spanish. And so I wanted to highlight those, even though those aren't a slide. We would love to
have the chamber learn more about our facilities measure. And you can do that by going to Yes on S and FSUSD, Yes on S for FSUSD. And there's a lot of information on there.
Kathy, I'd be curious because one of the things, and I appreciate the additional chat, and it's actually been not only just within our school settings, but there is a shortage of individuals that are willing to take on providing childcare, whether that's pre-3-year-olds. Do you think there's things that either we're able to do or able to partner with Solano Family and Children's Services to be able to expand that so that we have more individuals getting into that career?
Thank you, Chris. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You're already working with us to help the teen parents who have children who need care. And so we're supporting them with some subsidized childcare to take that voucher wherever they need care so they can get to school. And truly across the whole county, there's a shortage of early childhood educated providers. And yet we're in a place where they can earn more than they used to. Many of our family child care home providers are looking very seriously at becoming TK and pre-K teachers because that offers them an opportunity to have a stable job with a school district and benefits that they wouldn't have had as a private business person. So there's a push at all levels with all types of childcare. So absolutely, I think Mary Bird is a great example of using community support to really put together a place where families with kids with special needs have a place to go, because that's always been a struggle. But yeah, absolutely, we're here to partner. We are one of the pipelines for people to stay working. So as a chamber member, I see childcare as an integral part of us recovering from what we've gone through the past few years and keeping families working. So absolutely, we have a shortage. We want to help have the members of the chamber help us recruit, the school districts help us recruit. If working in the school district settings doesn't work for someone as an early childhood educator, they can open their own small business as a family childcare home and we can support them. So yeah, we're all partners in that, I think.
Hey,
If I
Sheila,
may-
Sheila, before you do that, could you exit from the presentation so we could see everybody? And I'm not 8 people or 6 people or whoever is on this. And my name is on all of them. So I just wanted to ensure. So Dr. Sheila McCabe, if you could wave right now so people could know who Sheila is, and Kristen Witt, our senior director, and Holly Whitworth. And then we have Baird. He is also on the line, and that is not Chris Corey. I just wanted to make sure that people knew who they were talking to.
That's good. Susan's on here twice too, I think for the same reason.
Yeah. Kimberly just joined. I did want to mention to actually Superintendent Corey's speak about Measure S. We did meet yesterday, the Political Action Committee for the Chamber, and we did talk about Measure S and Measure M. So a couple of the members weren't present, so we're waiting to hear back on their vote. So we'll be taking it to the board for a recommendation whether to endorse or not that your measure. So hopefully you'll hear back from the Chamber here quick about that.
Great, thank you.
And I did want to ask a couple questions regarding the presentation and open it up to others that might have questions. Monty always has questions. So I love the tier approach to your diplomas. I know my kids went to Fairfield-Suisun schools and didn't have that opportunity. So I really love how you guys have actually made it a little bit more competitive. I can see my kids wanting to try to get that higher level. And they didn't take CTE classes other than one virtual enterprise. And honestly, my son said that was the best class he's ever taken. But I think that would be an incentive to actually having that tier diploma to be able to do those CTE classes along with it, whether they're doing AP or IB or whatever. So the question I have is regarding community service hours, and really more of a how can the chamber help to be available our membership to provide students the opportunity to do community hours with our businesses.
That's, thank you, Susan, for asking, because we are always looking for community service opportunities for our students. We usually get a list of things that are happening in the community and we are able to connect. But if if the chamber had a monthly list of events that were happening by chamber members, where there was volunteer opportunities, we could get that out to secondary ed and to our counselors. And so that our students would know, who to contact and how to do those hours. Because there's a lot of our students who are required, like the Public Safety Academy, they're required. We have leadership at our high schools that are required to do hours too. So that would be really fantastic if we could get a list.
Yeah, I think
there used to,
go ahead. Go ahead, Sheila, go.
well, I was just gonna say, because it used to be that there was a website, not through the chamber, but through like a bigger area where you could, as an organization, put up your volunteer events that you need volunteers for. And even through the things that I volunteer within the community, like through Rotary, we've attempted to go there, and that it just doesn't work in the same way that it did a couple years ago. So if the chamber was able to put something together where either it got sent to us and we sent that out, or that it was
Listed on our
a
website.
live platform that we could keep sending out to the students so they constantly see it, that would be really advantageous. The other thing is that we also have a need for students to be able to have internships, whether they're paid or unpaid, some kind of short time over the summer, during the school year, a short period of time opportunities where kids can go in and begin really seeing what it's like to be in the workplace. And it doesn't always have to be paid internships. They can be unpaid as well if they're a short period of time.
And let me just add to that, because through one of the programs through the County Office of Education that we partner with the district with, we have an indefinite amount of money. You don't hear that too much in education when it comes to providing work experience opportunities for students that have a barrier to employment, specifically more of a disability, but doesn't have to be an IEP. If they have a 504 or recognized barrier, such as receiving mental health services outside of the school setting and don't have a formalized IEP or 504, we can still provide them a paid internship. So, and we work very closely with your Workability One programs, but know that if you have any youth within your district that wants to do an internship and they have some form of a disability, not necessarily documented, we could pay that student.
Could the disability be significant credit deficiency where they are at San Diego?
Well, typically, if they're so credit deficient, they probably have some kind of a disability, whether it be anxiety, depression, whatever. And if you tell me they have that, I can sign off on it. So when we have, like I said, per student, I think it's 100 hours of paid work experience at minimum wage with any employer in the community. And typically we could extend those 100 hours if we think that the student would benefit from additional hours. So
And I
that's
think
for employers to know that we could pay the wages.
because I think that's such an opportunity for the chamber as well, and for our business community, because when you see the number of signs around that, looking for employees, if this became an avenue, especially if some of our students that are at San Diego, where if that helped get them re-engaged in learning and in life, that would be awesome.
Well, and to your guys' point, I did want to share that, maybe we can kind of talk offline, but I think we already have a platform in place that we can get a lot of this going, especially the volunteerism, and even potentially bridging some sort of connection for the local businesses who might be looking for employees, and going through that channel as well.
Jared, per our discussion yesterday, I think this is timely. Obviously, we talked about internships and part-time individuals there for the chamber office to help with some admin stuff. And I'm listening to this and going, wow, I can't believe this. There's money available, there's students available. So Jared, you need to make sure and hook up with these individuals and see what you can work out there just for the chamber office. Not just the businesses in our community, but the chamber office as well. And the school district, hats off to you on these 3 different tiers of diplomas. I really, really appreciate that, support that wholeheartedly. especially when I seen the community involvement portion of it. I think that's what helps make the Public Safety Academy children and students more well-rounded, productive citizens in our community. And to bring it throughout the entire district for the high schools, hats off to you all. I think that's a wonderful, wonderful program that you've put in place. And thank you.
Monty, thank you for that, because, it's surprising some of the skills that our students have in regards to organization, or like if they had a part-time internship or whatever with the chamber where they were helping with some of those, whatever, office things, making phone calls. I mean, that is just, it's so important and so vital for our future workforce to get those skills. Because some of the things that we're finding is that a lot of our students there, and I have to admit, I was one of those parents too, where I was like, school's your job. I need you to go, and have school be your job. Well, then they graduate from college and have no idea how to work, because they just were going to school. So they didn't know how to, it's that saying, if you want something done, give it to a busy person, because they know how to manage their time. And so I think that providing those types of opportunities for our 16, 17, 18-year-old kids is so important and will just help us all in the long run.
Madam
I see
Superintendent.
Jonathan Richard. Oh, I was just going to say, I see Jonathan's hand up.
I think based on this conversation, we talk about expansion of CTE. And as I'm listening to this dialogue, I can't help but to think about, so we all know, or if everyone does not know, there's 15 different sectors of CTE, but within those 15 sectors, there's 59 different pathways. And I think it's worth the consideration of us looking at a hybrid model of expanding CTE until we're able to actually implement every single pathway, and actually recruiting businesses that fall into those pathways that we can do as hybrid interns, as you just previously mentioned. So I think that that's a great way for us to be able to move forward with CTE in a very meaningful and tangible way, because if we're waiting to be able to expand these based upon the opportunity to open them as pathways on our sites, we may be delayed significantly. But if we are able to identify through our partners, whether it's through the chamber and or community members that have opportunities that align with all 59 pathways, we can begin to work together with those community partners in order to expand CTE. And then as we get the actual support for those particular CTE pathways, look at how we can implement them in the district where it's best fitted.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Just a comment in terms of kind of building off of that idea of even interns at the chamber, is one of the things in terms of hours, our schools, all three of our high schools have work experience as part of the school day. And so students are able to, they do part of their day, and then it's usually sometime after lunch, depending on how many hours that they sign up for, are able to take a work experience class, which allows them then is actually part of their school day to go to their job. And especially I think of the chamber and how close that is to Armio High School, that would be really easy for a student to be able to get from Armio High School down to the chamber and be able to start a paid internship or paid work experience starting, by like 1 o'clock or 1:30 in the afternoon. And the nice part even in doing that is it doesn't absolutely have to be during the school day. So they could be participating in chamber activities that are happening later on in the afternoon, but still get out of school early to be able to do their homework and do other things like that. So that opportunity exists at all three of our high schools and is a great way to provide that real life experience as part of their school day, where they're also getting academic credit and credits towards graduation.
Thank you, Sheila. Anything else?
I just got the email about the slideshow being sent. What I'll go ahead and do, since all of you registered through Chambermaster, I have access to all of your emails. So I will send everybody who's attended the or registered for the meeting today the slideshow of everything.
And I
One
think,
more,
go
I
ahead.
do have one more thing to share. Jaden Baird, who is on this webinar this morning, is with us, but we just, as of yesterday, have a new public information officer. So now I'm just blanking on her last name. Jaden, are you there? It's Lindsay. I don't know if Jaden's on here after all. Anyway, Lindsay joined us yesterday, and she is going to be our public information officer, and she will be great at sharing community news. So Jared, I'm gonna send her contact information and her name and number to you so that you can share that with everybody.
Okay, great. So then I will wait to send the slides until I have everything, and then I will
Okay.
be more than happy to send it out to everybody.
Okay, sounds good.
So I'd just like to say that, so one of the tasks that we're gonna take on, Jared, I will assist in any way you need me to, is how we could actually come up with a monthly list of events. And I think you're doing a really good job at posting on the new updated website for the chamber on the calendar. So maybe we could just take from that, but we could discuss it. So we'll look at how we could actually have a monthly list of events to give to the Fairfield-Suisun Unified School District to help with those community service hours
Yeah,
opportunity.
no, for sure. And we are doing really well with our calendar, and it's only going to get better as time goes on. And that's actually the same platform I was thinking about for the other side. So if when you guys have things that you want people to be able to participate in, we might be able to use that same platform. But I do think it's a totally separate conversation that we can take offline and see how we can navigate and make that work.
And I don't know if you guys can see, but Vincent has his hand up.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Sorry for being late. I heard PIO, and so I just wanted to let the new person know that there's a Solano PIO group. So it's called SPIN. And that's a organization we meet quarterly, and it's all the PIOs in Solano County. So it's either public health, transportation, transit, schools. A lot of schools are on there. So I got the email here, and I'll reach out and make sure that Lindsay's added to the list so she can keep plugged in.
Thank you, Vincent. And then the other thing that we will look at how we could actually provide those internships collaboratively, the district with the chamber.
Well, I can tell you that the chamber allows for members to be able to post job postings on our website. And so it would be, my thought would be, is if we could do a campaign that lets the businesses know about this, we get it out and we tell them to post their job postings on our website, and then the school districts can go right on there and allow the students to apply through the internship.
Sounds pretty good.
That would be fantastic.
All right, so appreciate Fairfield-Suisun for presenting here today. Any last rounds, questions, comments? No? So this recording will be posted, right, Jared, on our website?
It's going to be a process. My marketing person is out on vacation right now, but
Not
yes,
right
we
away.
will definitely do it. So it will be out there. I'm actually if we're gonna continue to do these videos going forward, we have an advocacy tab on our website, and we now have the ability to post videos. So I think for every single one of these, I'm just going to record them and have them available for people to go to that tab and be able to review the videos on demand at any time that they would like, and even go back over years and so on.
Thank you, Jared. All right, thank you again. Have a great day.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hello. What's that?
I said, I shared that idea. Nobody said nothing. I was like, oh, I guess nobody like that.
You know what? You were talking and I went to try to find Lindsay's phone number.